Peace, gods. So firstly, I want to give all praise and honor to the most honorable, immortal, Grandmaster Chief Nature Boy, the Christ. I love myself for sparking my mind. So what we need to understand in life and what we need to strive for in life is to maintain a balance and come to the understanding that life is all about growth. And that this is the reflected light from the Grandmaster Chief, because the one thing that he said was the one thing that stayed with me, that in all relationships that you find yourself in, being it a family member, being it a loved one, being it just an acquaintance, it's all forms of transportation. It's a relationship, emphasis on ship, which means this is a transportation through your journey of life. And that in the time of being born, between the time of being born and the time that you die, so say die, in between, that is borrowed energy that you use to experience this experience of life. Because we need to remember that we are God, having a human experience here. And through our astrological programming, it gives us this subjective illusion of life. All of us, we are on this pursuit of happiness. And when we do acquire this happiness, it is only for a short period of time. And as I said, we are here to grow. So whenever you achieve this short period of happiness, it will come and it will go, and it will come and it will go. Everything in life changes, nothing stays the same. There will be days that you feel up and there will be days that you feel down. But the thing that stays constant and that is inevitable is that every situation that you find yourself in, you will acquire knowledge and you will acquire wisdom, and through this you will grow. So that should be our aim in life, to in every situation we find ourselves in, we should look for the lesson in it and how this will make us grow mentally, as this is the mission in life, to grow, to understand, and to grow and to understand. We are all God, having a human experience. This is proven through quantum physics. This is proven through many things in life. In order for you to experience life, firstly, God is the only entity in existence. And when I say entity, I mean an entity of energy, consciousness, the mind, represented by the vastness of the universe. God is the mind, and God uses thought, which is light, as the sun, to create life. So the darkness, which is the mind, uses the sun, which is thought, to create life, light here on earth. And the same as every little cell in your body consciously has to move in order for you to be sustained, in order for the life to be sustained in you, all of the cells in your body needs to constantly move. It's vibrating constantly in order for you to experience life, in order for you to breathe, in order for you, for all your systems in your body to work. So too do you constantly have to move and communicate with your fellow human beings here on earth. The master teacher said something, you have your own lips and you have your own private organs. You have your own everything, but it does not belong to you. You cannot kiss your own lips and you cannot have sex with yourself to penetrate yourself or do whatever you need to do to give you the stimulation of being sexually intimate. So everything that you have, you need an outside entity in order for you to experience this. And that is why God allowed this, not created, because energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. Energy was always there and will always be there and still is there. It's the same as in a kettle. If it is in a house and you have electrical appliances, that kettle is there. You bought the kettle is new. The energy that comes into your house flows freely to all circuits in your house through the kettle, and that gives the kettle power and it allows it to work. But as soon as that kettle is no longer working, it does not mean that that power or that electricity is no longer there. It just found it an alternative route, and that energy that flowed through that kettle was not destroyed. It just transformed into using the microwave or the fridge. And that is exactly how life works. We as human beings, we are here only for a short period of time. We fell into the illusion that this years that we are here, this is a long period. It sometimes happens in our dreams as well, when we dream, and then in this dream, it feels to you that you're busy for a long period of time, whatever you were busy with. But then when you woke up, you realized, oh fuck, this was a dream. But in this dream, when it's still vivid and you can still remember it, it was like you were in your dream for a couple of days and things were happening constantly with you because you were here and you were there and you were here and there. And then you woke up, you realized, oh fuck, this is a dream, and it all happened in a short period of space, even in an hour or so. So that is exactly how life works. And now currently, we find ourselves in that dream. We are the mind of God. And when we are the mind of God, we are thoughts of God, experiencing everything, every little thought that you can have in your mind. Just visualize it, that every thought that you have in your mind is actually a physical entity of a physical form happening or doing something wherever it wants to be, whatever it wants to do. And this is how God is experiencing life. In John verse 1 it says, and it says this beautifully, in the beginning was the Word. But now we must remember and we must think rationally, we must think logically, that in order for you to have a word, in order for there to be a deed, in order for you to do anything that you want to do, you first need to have a thought. So this too is what it goes for God. So God thought everything into existence. God had a thought that God wanted to experience its thoughts. So before there could have been a word, there had to be a thought. So John verse 1, we can read, in the beginning was the Word, in the beginning was the thought was with God. So remember what I said firstly, that God is represented by the universe, by the vastness of the universe, and this is total darkness. So too is your mind, your brain in total darkness. So God's mind is in total darkness. So in order for God to create life, in order for God to allow life to be, there had to be light. So in the beginning was the light. The light was with the darkness. The light was the darkness. So the light was with the darkness in the beginning, and through the light everything was made. And without the light nothing was made that has been made. So this tells to us that in the beginning there was the darkness of the universe. And so in order for the universe to allow for life to happen, there had to be the light. So the light came out of the darkness. And the light was the darkness. It's not separate. There's no separation between the two. There's no separation between anything. Everything has its opposite, only at a different degree. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This is the sciences we need to understand as God's children before we can understand life. We need to understand these things. And when we do understand these things, it will just bring you back to yourself. So in the beginning it was the total vastness, darkness of the universe. And out of the darkness came the sun. The sun was the thought. This was the light that represents the thoughts of God. And through these lights, it sound. And through the sun brought everything else into existence, into our solar system, all the other planets that you observe. This was reflected by the light, even Earth itself. And through this, life was made, life was allowed to happen. So this too goes for us as human, because everything happens in fractional pieces of each other. The vastness of the universe and how the universe operates, this is represented by your mind and how your mind works. But each and every one of us has a different mindset, has a different astrological programming, and perceive and sees life different and react differently to different situations. So the reason how this happened is through all the planets that was brought into existence by the mind and taught into existence through the mind of God and reflected through the light of the sun is the planets in our solar system. And each and every planet interacts and exchanges and communicates constantly with each other in order for life to happen here on Earth. So each and every planet, from Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, all these planets together with Earth interacts constantly with each other, and this is energy frequencies, energy sources that is being zoomed and sent here and taken back and sent here and taken back constantly, as people always are born and die constantly, born and die constantly. This is how energies move constantly back and forth between these planets in order us solely to experience life, to give God the experience of experiencing everything. Experience what it is to be the sun, experience what it is to be the sunlight, experience what it is to be each and every other planet that you see in our solar system, experience what it is to be Earth, experience to what it is to be every entity on this earth, experience what it is to be a shell of every entity on this earth, experience what it is to be an organelle in every cell on every entity on this earth. And this is what God wanted to experience, to be everything. So on the day when your time years expired, and you find yourself before the Almighty, and judgment will happen. And God does not judge you. You will judge yourself because, like I said, you are God. So you will appear before the All. And because everything will flash before you, and you will realize that you were everything and you were only dealing with yourself, and what you did to others, you did to yourself, you will feel ashamed. You will feel ashamed and you will feel convicted, and through this, you will condemn yourself to whatever it is you feel is suitable as punishment to yourself. You will either come back here, but before that, you will have to live out your karma. Everything that you put out into the universe will come back to you again. And this is how life works. So firstly, what I said, we need to love ourselves. We need to love ourselves, and we need to realize that whatever we need to prove that I love myself, you need to do it. We cannot depend on the next human being to give us happiness. It is proven constantly, every second of every day, the way we betray each other, the way we are betrayed, the way we treat each other, the way how we are treated, the way we stab each other in the back, the way we are stabbed in our back, the way we talk about each other and the way how we are talked about. That we cannot fully depend on the next person to give you that happiness that you are looking for. Because as it is, all of us, whether we like to admit it or not, we're on the pursuit of happiness. But on the pursuit of happiness, you have to keep the constant balance in your mind that I'm here to grow. I'm here to grow into my greatness, into my full potential as God. And to stand up tall through all my trials and tribulations, and stand up tall on the other side as I have come out a winner. We know how it feels when we have pushed through our circumstances. We know how it feels when we have pushed through a difficulty, we have overcome a challenge, and then we know how proud we feel. How proud you feel of yourself when you have achieved this. And the higher you elevate to different levels of frequencies, a different level brings a new devil. So the higher you elevate as a human being, because that is the consciousness that is currently here on this earthly plane of existence. We are now in a confidence, we are now in a consciousness where the old beliefs is fading away. The old beliefs is slowly but surely fading away. The Son of God is not the S-O-N of God, it's the S-U-N of God, is the sun in the sky of God. That is the sun that we should praise and acknowledge. That is the most honorable, highest form of consciousness that we all need to come in. And then and the lower self frequency of thought, these people that is making life difficult for others here on earth, these people that is destroying the earth, they are all you, but they are there in a lower vibrational thought frequency. Like I said, God is everything. Even those people that is doing evil, that is doing wrong, that is living backwards, that too, that is God experiencing what it is to be that being. But at the same time, whatever you do here, you will answer for it. You will pay for it. Karma will come back to you. You will pay for it even in this lifetime or in the next when you reincarnate. So we need to realize this. We need to accept the change that is happening consciously. And also the people that is waiting for this SON to appear here on a cloud, and free everyone and bring happiness in whatever it is believed in. It has already happened, but not in the form or the way that the people perceived it would happen. It happened in a form of consciousness because everything is the mind and the universe is mental. Everything that we perceive here is mind. If you sit still and still your mind and just think everything that ever happened to you, no matter how minute or no matter how big, was your thoughts and it was your actions and it was your ideas that put you into that circumstances. You are the only one to blame for whatever you find yourself in. Even if you want to point a finger to a little child that has happened and found itself in a little situation or whatever situation that child finds itself in. I said it before, you reincarnate and pay back what it is you put out into the universe. We reincarnate here constantly. You had a life before this. Energy cannot be created nor be destroyed. Like the analogy I made with a kettle, energy just flows. It just flows back and forth in the circle. In the print of the universe, represented by your fingerprint, represented by a flower, represented by a cell in the ocean. That is how energy flows freely. Round and round and round and round, and that is how life goes round and round and round and round. So as harsh as it sounds, as cold as it sounds, when something happens to a child, that is an entity that reincarnated back here to experience that. Because whatever it did in its previous life, that is the sin, that is the payback that it had to do. We are not here. When you proclaim the kingdom of God, like I am doing now, and while you're doing this, you find yourself in your higher self. But it does not mean that you will stay there. As long as you're still in Babylon and you proclaim the kingdom of God, in that time and in that space, you find yourself in your higher self. And you feel a certain degree of happiness and you feel a certain degree of motivation and you feel a certain degree of belief that you will achieve what it is you set yourself out to achieve. And when you do this to proclaim the kingdom of God, you're going to say certain things. You're going to speak the truth, but not everyone wants to hear the truth. And not everyone will agree with the truth. And everyone will receive the truth differently. Some will hear it, some will understand it, and some will go with it. Some will hear it, some will not understand it and be convicted by it. Some refuse to hear it because it sounds harsh, because it sounds evil. And the thing that I can say, Reflections, is however you perceive an electrical signal coming to you through your 5 senses, and whatever you articulate it to be, that is what is resonating in your heart. What you see in others, you see in yourself. And all of us as human beings on this earthly plane in existence, consciously aware or not, we have advice to give to others. And in this advice you give to others, you should know that if it comes out of a pure and good place, if it comes out of a pure and good heart with good intentions, that is you in your higher self, reminding each other, reminding yourself that this is the right thing to do. But it is not to see if that person that gave you this advice, he or she falls or he or she fails, but stands up again and move forward again, that person is a hypocrite. We should constantly communicate and we should constantly encourage each other. We should constantly be a good example to each other, even if it be by saying things, but it should most definitely be by your actions. Speak the truth and love the truth, so you may be of encouragement and be of a better example. I don't want to say a role model, because it sounds like that is a model playing a role. You should just reflect the light of God, like the sun is reflecting its light on everyone, no matter who or what you are doing. The sun does not discriminate. The sun gives light to everyone. If you are an evil person, the sun gives light to you. So this is what had happened When you proclaim the kingdom of God, this is for everyone's ear. Because when the time comes for us to appear before the Almighty on the day of judgment, no one can say that they did not hear the truth. That is why the universe allowed for cell phones to happen, in order for us as selves. We are all selves of the body of God here on this earthly plane of existence. So that is why the universe allowed for the cell phone to be here, in order for us to communicate with each other and share this Christ conscious message with the whole globe. And each and every one will receive this message. And not each and every one of us will take this message, pick up our ank and walk the narrow path. There are 5 sciences: astrology, biology, grounding, melanin, and quantum physics. That is the 5 sciences that I study in order for me to know myself, and that is the 5 sciences that all of us should study in order for us to know ourselves. And when we truly know ourselves, and this is logic, this is simple mathematics, and truly when you do know yourself, you will be able to give your best to whoever you feel deserves your energy. Be it your children, be it your parents, be it your family, your wife, your whatever. Only when you find yourself, truly find yourself, you will be able to give someone else the best of yourself. And when you do love yourself, you will do the best for yourself, be it mentally or physically. In order for you to truly give best to your mental health, you need to place your physical self in a conducive environment where you have enough sunlight, where you have pure water, where you have pure oxygen, where you can connect to earth without concrete, without tar, without rubber or wood on your feet, where you can connect grounding, where you can connect with the sun through your skin, through the melanin in your skin, where you can connect to the melanin in your skin. So that is the message I want to put out today. Reflections. Peace to the God. I love myself. I see you chose one. Peace reflection. Peace to the gods.